out of the remaining 7 games, Kansas City is going to go 5-2.
So 10 wins. So yeah, that I was about to say. I think to make the playoffs in the AFC, you have to have 10 wins. I think all 3 wildcard teams will have 10 wins when it's all said and done. Now, there's the concern though, because you look at the rest of the wildcard picture. You got the Bills, you got the Chargers, and you got the Jags, who everyone's calling just a speed bump in the road for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Speed bumps.
They are. That's what I've been hearing. That's what I hear. I even as a Jags fan, I'm like, I kind of get it. I kind of get it. So like, you have to, because you don't own the tiebreaker over the Jags, and as of right now, you don't own the tiebreaker over the Chargers, and you don't own the tiebreaker over the Bills. So you're going to have a better record than at least one of those 3 teams. So you're going to have to hope that those 2 teams, and obviously the eyes go straight to the Jaguars because that they're the Jaguars. So you think that you look at that, and so I don't
agree. I don't agree with the fact that it necessarily means you have to have 10 wins in the AFC. I don't. I mean, who's sitting in the 7th seed right now? Jacksonville at 6 wins.
Yeah.
So I mean, is it? They have to go 4-3. Is it not plausible that they go 3-4 and the final team is a 9-win team? Like I
do have a hard time thinking that. I do have a hard time seeing that though. I think if you look at even Jacksonville's schedule, that I think that they can still find 4 wins, 3 to 4 wins on this schedule.
I'm not saying they can't. I'm just saying like. I think it's easy to say, oh, a team's going to beat this team or a team's going to beat that team. But we got to remember, some of these teams are going to play each other. Like somebody's got to lose. And I think that's kind of where I'm at. You're going to have to play Denver. You're going to have to play the Colts like twice. So Jacksonville plays the Colts twice and Denver still.
Yeah.
Could they win the remaining of their games? Sure. But if they sweep, say if they don't sweep the Colts, they're each of them have another loss, and then you have to look at the Colts schedule, see who they play. Like I just think that it's
I think
point in the season where division games start.
Yeah, I think the Colts have. I think the Colts have the AFC South. That's theirs. Like I think they have the AFC South.
You're already chalking it up.
I am. I think the Jaguars can finish based off their schedule. I see 2, 3. 4, I see 4, maybe 5 wins to where they finish with at least 10 wins. That's what I'm saying.
So let's go there. But see, you're not accounting for the Colts. So maybe they beat the Colts once, let's say. Colts still play at Kansas City, at Jacksonville. We'll say that's the game that they lose. At Seattle, San Francisco, and play Houston twice, which is another 2 division games. Are you telling me that you're already giving them the division? The Colts have had one of the easiest schedules to start the season.
I know.
They play 4 road games, not easy, and they get the Niners. I'm not as quick to give people divisions like that. I think people look at schedules early and they realize they're playing a bunch of non-conference, non-divisional opponents, and they boosted their records up and they get to 7-2, 8-2, and they think it's just over. Right now, I would not be shocked if the Colts, who are sitting 8-2 right now, did not finish like 10-7, 11-6. Like that is not out of the world of possibility.
But
they
again,
could literally go on a 3-game losing streak.
But again, though, even to what you just said, though, what was the number? What was the lowest win number you just said right there? 10. That's still 10 wins.
But that's to win a division I'm talking about. Like, think about it. You're already giving them the division. So if the team winning the division is at 10-7, more than likely there will be a team in the playoffs that's 9-8.
I have a hard time seeing that. I do. I have a really hard time seeing that in the AFC right now, where that we end up with a 9-win team in the playoffs for the AFC.
I think it's very, very possible given the landscape of the AFC right now. Given that the teams that are going to be fighting are the teams that haven't not been winning their division in the past. Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo. You're looking at 3 wildcard teams. Like those literally could be the 3 wildcard teams.
Yeah, it could be. It could.
And,
Now
and
let me then ask the question to kind of spin it ahead to next week. Colts, Chiefs. You think this is like where the Chiefs are? Obviously 5-5. They're not playing to their normal Chiefs standards. But if you look at it on paper, you're like Colts, Chiefs. You would normally say this is a prove it game, right? For the Indianapolis Colts.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, this is a game that to me, I don't want to say the Colts have to win because they're obviously put themselves in a good spot. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a must win for the Colts. But when I look at their schedule, I where's the really strong win outside of week 2?
No,
Like
it's
the team and I'm even given week 2 when they really should have lost. They should have lost to Denver. Denver had the game won, got a penalty, and the Colts got to kick it again, like on a personal foul field goal. Like, so outside of that, there's not a like, oh, that's a win that I'm like, man, that's a really, really good win. They lost to the Rams. Maybe they should have beat the Rams. I don't know, but the Rams are good. Outside of that, I don't see a win where I'm like, man, the Colts really, I like the Colts. Don't get me wrong. I think they're a team that is good. But they don't have no statement wins yet. Like, what's the statement win this week? And many would argue, well, Kansas City can't be a statement win. They're 5-5, but that's a good win on the road in Kansas City. That speaks volumes. That says something like, okay, this team is a little further along than I believe they are. Again, I'm not trying to knock on the Colts. Do I think they're a playoff team? Absolutely. But they don't seem Super Bowl contenderish to me, if that makes sense.
if the Colts win this game, on the other side, the Chiefs lose this game. Is that when you start to at 5-6? Is there?
You lose at home to the Colts. You lose at home to the Colts. I mean, I'm still looking at you. It would be the first time in the Patrick Mahomes era they lost 3 straight. Obviously, that's not a good thing. But like I told you, if Kansas City give 3 losses, when the Kansas City lose that 3rd game the rest of the year, then I'm going to chalk it up. But until then, obviously, I'm going to say, why would I count them out? You know what's funny to me? You know why it's funny to me? Because last year, I remember every conversation being, oh, the Bengals could win out and the Bengals could be a dangerous team in the playoffs. And we will give that to teams. We still say it. If Joe Burrow comes back, we will give that to the Cincinnati Bengals, but we won't give it to the team that's been to 7 straight AFC championship games and 5 Super Bowls. That makes 0 sense. 0.
It doesn't. My concern really is though, my brain is having a hard time wrapping itself around the fact that a 9-win team getting into the playoffs from the AFC side, because that's what my panic. But my panic is if they lose this game to the Indianapolis Colts, because I think the room for error for the Kansas City Chiefs is getting thinner and thinner, and I think about one more loss to the Chiefs, it leaves 0 room for error, because then you're at 6. That's 10-6 to finish if you can win out the rest of your schedule, and then it's Colts. So you have Colts, and if you would have lose the game against the Colts, that's 5-6. It's tough to see. Like I know what happened to the Chargers against the Jags. I know that it happened. I'm not completely out on the Chargers because of that of that type of game, but Kansas City at Los Angeles for like. It may even come down to us complaining about the fact that Kansas City had to use their own home game for week 1 against the Chargers in Brazil. Like that was their home game.
I'm just to be honest. I just don't think any of that matters. I think if Kansas City is a playoff team, they're going to win enough games to get in the playoffs. And where those games come from won't matter. They lose to the Colts and win 5 straight. Would that surprise you? If they beat the Colts and then lose to the Cowboys and then win 4 straight, would it matter? Like, I think if the Chiefs get to 10 wins, great. I think they're probably a lock to be in. If they get to 9 wins, they would need help. But I am also not on your train of like, there's not a 9-win team there. The Chargers, are they going to win 10 games? Are they? I don't really know. The way their offensive line is not very good. Are they really going to win 10 games? They've played 11. They got 6 more to go. Are they going to go 3-3, or could you see them going 2-4? I think those are like I don't think those things are out of the question. I think that's what I'm saying. I think we're just giving teams wins just to give them wins and say they're going to get to 10.
Yeah.
But the Chargers still got the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Texans, the Broncos, the Cowboys. And I'm not saying the Cowboys are good, but we know on any given week that offense could
The
explode.
Cowboys can be good. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've still got 5 tough games out of the 6. Like a lot of these teams were back heavy, which is why they were able to get the cushion that they got early. Now, I'm not going to argue. Colts, Patriots, Broncos, probably the 3 teams have locked up playoff berths, right? They put themselves, but outside of that, Pittsburgh, are you sure Pittsburgh's going to even be around? Like, what if Baltimore has a couple more losses and then they're winning the division with 8 or 9 wins? Like, are we sure that they're really not going to be a playoff team?
That is the AFC North is the only spot I can think of someone being a 9-win team and getting in. I can see this being not as good, obviously, as what it was last year with like the NFC North, where we had all those teams like fill up the wild card spot and everyone had like 11 or 10 wins. I do think this year
you're banking a lot on Jacksonville. Like Jacksonville's the only team. If we gave them the 7, that would be the only team with 6 wins right now. Everybody else is 5-5 or worse. So with them being the 7 seed right now, they only have 6 wins. So it's really up to Jacksonville. If Jacksonville doesn't win 10 games, then a team's going to get in probably with 9.
But no. But the thing is, though, is you have to win. The only team that if the Jags finish 9-7 and the Texans finish 9-7, the Texans would get the tiebreaker and then they would get in, which is crazy to think of that. But
no, that's my point. But they would be 9-8. They still would have 9 wins. That's my point is there is going to be a team. If Jacksonville does not go 5-2 or 4-3 or whatever we're talking, win those 4 games, there's going to be a team that gets in and 9 wins.
If the Chiefs were to get in, I think they need 10 wins. That's what I will.
That might be a fair assessment. That might be a fair assessment.
And that's the last. And I think that's the last wild card spot. I think the Chiefs are the last wild card spot.
What I'm saying is, you might be right. If the Chiefs get in, there has to be 10. But to say a team can't get in with 9 wins, because if the Chiefs lose a couple of games and Baltimore loses a couple of games, and Jacksonville doesn't do what they're supposed to do, a team's going to get in with 9 wins. Like you're banking on Kansas City being that final team.
I think Kansas City ends up being I think Kansas City ends up being that final team. And the funny thing is
I believe Kansas City finishes with a better record than the Chargers.
Yeah, I don't think that's far off. I don't think that's far off. I think they may finish the same. I think they could finish with the same record.
But I think the Chargers are headed for a downfall.
Let me just end this here with just something very, very funny that popped in my brain here. Can you imagine how Josh Allen must be feeling if he enters the playoffs and doesn't have to deal with Lamar and doesn't have to deal with Patrick Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl? Can you imagine how that's going to feel mentally? But then if he doesn't make the Super Bowl without those 2 roadblocks in his way, the amount of criticism that the Bills are going. Sean McDermott won't have a job.
He might not have a job anyways. I don't know that Buffalo's a Super Bowl team this year, but that's a different conversation.
I will say I don't think I will go out on the limb here and say if there is a world where Baltimore and Kansas City both miss the playoffs and the Bills end up they're all by themselves with Josh Allen and they don't win the Super Bowl or at least make it to the Super Bowl, Sean McDermott will get fired. And it's going to be all just aimed at Sean McDermott and the Bills the entire offseason. Let's move it forward.